the only man that's got the same move with every club. I'm the only golfer with the feeling of greatness. I'm the only golfer living that's got the master move and the feeling of greatness.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the Feeling of Greatness podcast. It's been a while since I've sat down and had a conversation. Lot of stuff going on here at Graves Golf. It's kind of never ending. We have the Golf Performance Center, which is kind of gaining some momentum. The golf course is beautiful. It's amazing. I never thought I'd be so interested in watching grass grow, but we've been kind of involved in the grass growing process here. And then, we're picking up some memberships. It's interesting to see I always have this theory where you can overthink things. I definitely think that's true when we talk about the golf swing and all of you guys out there thinking about golf. And now I'm talking about overthinking, but even when you do projects like, you build a golf training center at a golf course that closed down in 2017, and you want to see if inside the community of Edmond, if it will support a golf-centric facility that is really just about practicing and maybe playing the game because there's a 6-hole training course. But then again, people are like, well, you got to play 18 holes. And then I'm watching this thing attract a certain type of golfer, which I think I can resonate with because that's the type of golfer I am. I love the game of golf, not just for the mere fact of playing 18 holes. I love golf for the striking of a golf ball, the purity of watching a golf shot, the chipping, the watching a golf ball check onto a green, making a putt. There's so many things I love about the game that don't require me playing 18 holes. And then at the same time, I love to go out there and hit some shots on the golf course and have targets and, play a bunker shot, or the weather gets bad and go play in some bad weather and test yourself. And there's all that part of it too. So to me, it's a playground. This is a playground for a golfer. We built the course in a way where there's shots you can hit on the golf course that you can go practice off the green 40 yards and hit low chip and runs or hit flop shots from 40 feet below the surface of the green. There's just so much that we can do when you have a place to do it. And it's a golf playground out here. So it's fun to watch the people that are like that love the game in that way, use the facility and come out. I had a good friend of mine from the club where I'm a member here locally came out, and he said, hey, I want to come over here and hang out at your facility and just have a place to hang out and practice and work on my game. And he can do that at the club, but he doesn't feel like he feels like he needs to go play 18 holes when he goes and plays. He can't just go out there and practice and just have his own little universe. That's what this place is designed for. So fun to watch that. I've seen a lot of fathers bringing their kids, which is kind of a cool environment because that makes a lot of sense, because it's difficult to bring your kid out to the country club and try to teach him how to play golf when there's 2 groups on the first tee, and where do you take your kid to play a few holes? And we've had some mothers and daughters and some fathers and daughters doing the same. I think this place really lends itself to learning and developing the game. I love to see that. That's a big bonus for me to watch that here at the facility. So we have that going on. We are launching a VIP program, which I'm really excited about. It's a level 5 invitation program for those of you that are interested. I am going to be doing that here at the facility as well, which is basically bringing in the VIPs. And here's how I built this program. It's probably interesting that we talk about this because it's going to relate to what I want to discuss today, which is just raising our standard and getting to the next level of our games. And that's what my level 5 program is going to be about. One of the things that I think is important is we start winding down this year and looking at next year. Is what are we doing now with our time? And then what's the best way to plan and strategize? And we're all self-development. I think that's what this is all about. We're developing ourselves. We're developing our golf games. If you're going to be a better golfer next year than you were this year, you got to develop something. You got to develop a part of your game, or you got to be better at your short game. You got to have a better long game. You got to drive the golf ball better. You got to chip the ball better. You got to putt better. You're going to have to learn some new skills. You're going to have to make a change. And so it's kind of like we have to look at these times in our lives. And I try to reinvent myself, all the time. But as we get into this kind of idea of reinvention, what I mean by that is, you've gotten to where you are right now, and you take a picture of where you want to be, whether it's stronger, you want to lose some weight, so thinner, whether you want to be a better golfer, whatever that picture you have is that, and then you got to do the things between now and then to achieve that picture. And it's a reinvention. You won't be the same person then as you were, or you're right now, which is exciting. But then you have to also strategize for it, because we can also sit around on our butts and not do anything and not get better at anything and not achieve anything, and maybe even get in worse shape. And, I think that's the challenge of what we do is always trying to reinvent ourselves and just excite ourselves with what's next. What's the next thing I can do to achieve and enjoy my life and have some fun. And the process is what's fun about it. It's not just the achievement of it. It's the process. How can I have fun doing this? I always ask myself that same question. Whenever I have this kind of goal and this mission out there, I always say to myself, well, yeah, that's what I want to do. But now how can I have the most fun doing that? Like, how can I make that exciting to me? And the reward is when you get there, but then it's like, okay, what's the next goal? It just makes it more fun to achieve these things. So let's talk about this. How do we reinvent ourselves, and how do we set these goals, and how do we build these strategies, and what's the best way to approach this? And I'll just give you some of my opinion, going into what I do, kind of reassess every year and take kind of a inventory of where I'm at. And I hire coaches, number one. So the first thing that I do when I think about my reinvention, actually, the first thing is I kind of develop a picture of what I want to change and what I want to improve. And it's kind of a goal setting thing, but I like to paint pictures. I like to paint pictures in my head. Writing a goal on a piece of paper is great. I can write down, I want to make, $100 million, but it's just that, to me, it's just words on paper. But the picture of it, the picture of my accomplishment, if I want to become a good driver of the golf ball, I want to picture myself driving the golf ball well. I want to then imagine what it feels like to be a great driver of the golf ball. I want to put myself in that feeling and in that picture. And that inspires me more than just writing it on a piece of paper, especially when it comes to golf. And so, what's your picture? That's the first thing, is what's your new picture? What's it look like? And I would get very detailed in this picture. What are you wearing? What does it feel like? Get really detailed on that vision that you're shooting for. Look, if you want to lose some weight, create a vision of yourself being in the condition you want to be in. What's that optimal condition you want to be in? Now picture yourself there. What does it feel like to be there? What are you wearing? What are people saying to you? How do you feel about yourself? All those things that you're going to experience when you get there. I try to have that experience, and create that experience as much as you can. So that's the first thing I do is try to create this mental, visual, feeling experience of my future. Second thing, and to me, that might be enough, by the way. That might be all you need to do, because once you start putting that out there, and once you start reflecting that, let me ask you this question. We just did a little visualization exercise if you didn't know it right there, right? I had you vision something in the future. You experienced it, you felt it, you painted that picture in your mind. Weren't you there? Weren't you already there? I just took you there, right? And so if you can be there now, then you can do that every minute of the day, and you can start experiencing that. So that's what I try to do. I try to create this vision and this picture. And by the way, just so you know, that's probably why I'm sitting here today having this conversation on the Feeling of Greatness podcast, is because when I saw Mo hit a golf ball for the first time, that's the picture I started painting in my head of me doing that. Matter of fact, I walked up to Mo and I said, I'm going to be better than you. And I had a vision that I'm going to be a better ball striker than you. I had this vision in my head of me developing, this Mo Norman's golf swing, putting it in my own body and experiencing it. And I got video cameras out and I started and that was creating more of a vision of myself doing it. Then I started visualizing myself doing it and I started seeing myself doing it. It was a massive visual process for me, but that's feelings, and I get feelings from that and you're learning from that. And there's such a lesson in all of that, but it started with a vision. So that's where I start. And then you got to build a roadmap to your vision. So now you got to ask yourself, okay, here's my thing. And the second thing I would recommend is, okay, we're going to build this map to get there. And I'm going to help you with that. But you also need to build an environment to do it. For example, if I'm going to help you become a great golfer and you have no place to practice, no place to swing a club, and no place to do anything that you're going to learn, it's not a great environment. So the question becomes, now that you have this new picture painted of what you want and you have this vision and you have these feelings of where you're going, and now we're going to build a plan to get there, we got to make the commitment to build an environment to do that. And that means, and when it comes to golf, having the right equipment, having places to practice, having the things you need, the tools you need. If you're going to get in shape, you need a place to work out maybe, or if you're going to eat well, you need to have a kitchen to cook food in. I'm just saying you need to have the environment and maybe the people you're around. I know that when I've talked to some single plane golfers, their buddies all say, hey, what are you trying to learn that swing for? And their buddies aren't supportive of it. And so now they're getting some pressure from their friends and buddies about learning the single plane swing. So that might not be the most conducive environment to have. You want to create a supportive environment. So that's the next thing I would ask you is like, okay, we're going to build this roadmap. Are you willing to now build the environment? And you got to look at all your environments. You got to look at the people that you're associating with, the coaches you're hiring, the people that are supporting you. Build a support system and a support environment for what you want to accomplish. So that's number 2. Number 3, we've got to build a roadmap, and we got to get a detailed roadmap. And this is one I think you have to write it down, because the roadmap is your accountability factor to this. So, for example, let's take your golf game for a minute, or if you have a fitness component that you're working on or something, and you got this vision for it now, and now you're building this environment that is going to support this. I recommend looking at a 90-day plan. You can say, okay, in 2 years I want to be here, and 1 year I want to be here, and that's your long-term vision. But what this chunk of 90 days, what are you doing in this next chunk of 90 days? And then you could even chuck that down to the next 30 and the next 30 and the next 30. But it comes down to what you're doing today. And so the 90 days is like, okay, in the next 90 days, you're eating this elephant. We got to take it one bite at a time. So this is the chunk I'm going to take on in the next 90 days. And then go even one step further and go, okay, what do I do this week? And then what am I going to do on a daily basis? Which leads to a schedule. And then that schedule becomes, what am I doing today? And then I would even go as far as blocking out time in your day to make sure that you're dedicating it to what you're working on. So let's take, for example, you're working on, and something relevant to me right now is I'm working heavily with all the single plane 30 students that are in the monthly single plane training program. If you don't know what that is, at the beginning of the first Monday of every month, you can join our program, which starts the first Monday of the month, and it's a 30-day progressive training program where every day we deliver you a training module. You train that module, and it teaches you the single plane swing for 30 days. So it progresses you through the single plane swing training, and it does it in a perfect way, perfect order. It's perfect training. We've had people taking the class every single month because it's such good training for learning the single plane swing. That would be a 30-day program that I would say it's a daily experience. It's daily training. It's done in the correct order. It's done in the correct way. And it's masterful at teaching you. That's the first 30 days. And it makes you, and I would block out 1 hour every day to work on your training for single plane 30. There's your block of time. So there's your first 30 days. And I would do that with your short game. And then I would do the same thing with your putting. And I would just block out 30-day increments. And in 90 days, you could work on those factors of the game. Maybe in 30 days, you work on your course management skills. Maybe for 30 days, you work on your routines. You work on your pre-shot routine, your course routines, all the 4 routines that I recommend taking to the course. My point to this is I love blocking it out and then the daily schedule. So you're now that you have your whole vision, we gotta put that vision to work in a daily training format. So that's really what I just kind of walked you through there is why I'm designing Level 5, the VIP program, because here's what it does. The VIP program is based on exactly what I just talked about. Number one is the vision of the VIP program is we base the instruction on the 7 principles of golf. If you don't know what those are the 7 elements of a golfer. We call it the anatomy of a golfer: long game, short game, putting, clubs, knowing your equipment, course management, knowing how to practice, and the mental game. Those are the 7 elements of you as a golfer that you must develop skills in and master. All of our instruction is based on that. If you come to any of our golf schools here at Graves Golf, we cover those 7 principles. The VIP program, I'm bringing in all the best instructors that we have here at Graves Golf to cover each one of those principles. So when you join the VIP program at Level 5, you will come in here every quarter. So once a quarter, you'll come into the academy. Again, perfect environment to do this, working with what I call the dream team of coaches on the 7 principles. And you're going to come in here every single quarter, once a quarter, and we're going to work with you on the 7 principles. And there you have it. A perfect vision, developing 7 principles, perfect environment, Graves Golf Performance Center. And now you're working with a dream team of coaches, and we're keeping you accountable and on track while you're doing it. And in between the quarters, you'll get accountability programs to work on the things you work on here. It's a quarterly program, and we get to see you in person 4 times a year, which I think is consistency. I think coaching needs consistency. And I think one of the problems that we've had as a company is we'll coach somebody at a school and we won't see them for 9 months or a year. Okay, well, if they're not practicing correctly, or we're not keeping them accountable to the training, they may fall off the map. So we as a company are trying to find ways to help you and help you become more accountable and find programs for you to keep you on track, because we know consistency is the key to great training. So that's what I want you to kind of think about from the podcast today is looking at an inventory of this last year. I would recommend just reflecting on what are the great things that happened. Be grateful for all the good stuff. What would you like to change for next year? What do you improve? And there's always things you want to improve. What can get better? Write those things down. Now, create a vision of the future that you want to see. And I would go out there as far as you want, and then now we got to chunk that future down. We got to chunk that future down into 90-day increments. And then we got to chunk that down into 30 days and then daily. And so now you get your schedule out. And then the next thing is, now that you know what you want and now that you have a schedule for it, do you have the right environment for that? Because I can tell you right now, I have seen environment be the biggest factor for people not being able to accomplish their goals. I'll give you an example. And this may have been experiences you guys have had. Let's say you decide, hey, I'm going to get I want to lose weight and I want to eat better and I want to really get in a better fitness level. And you tell your wife, say, honey, like, got to lose some weight and I need some support. Great. And you start going to the grocery store and buying better foods and you start exercising, and your wife keeps bringing home pizzas, right? And she keeps bringing home cheeseburgers. And so as much as you're working at it, your environment is not setting up for this. So I'm talking about experience here. You got to get your people around you and your lifestyle in a way. That's why I always tell people, golf is a lifestyle. And if you hang around good players, you become a good player. If you hang around guys that aren't very good, you kind of fall to their level. I used to always challenge myself with playing with better players, because one time I played in the Las Vegas, Nevada Open, and I shot like 77, but I played with a guy that shot 64, and I watched this amazing round of golf. I became a spectator. I was playing in the Nevada Open. I became a spectator. And after we finished the round, I was like, I would love to play with this guy every single day, because he had serious skills. He was a great ball striker. I loved the way he played the game. And I was like, I could learn a lot from this guy watching him play. And I did learn a lot. Played 2 rounds with him. And so you want to aspire to a higher vision of yourself. Well, you need to surround yourself with the higher vision and surround yourself with people that are better than you. And that's why you need to hire coaches, because coaches have skills and have have experiences that you will spend a lifetime and not be able to acquire. All you got to do is have a coach, and he can show you the things that you would take forever to learn. So that's why coaches become so valuable. Right now, I have 2 coaches in my life I'm working with on business stuff and some other stuff in my life. Coaches, just like if you're going to go do some investing, go hire a financial advisor that knows what he's doing. Try to do it on your own, probably not going to work out too well. So I recommend that. That's probably the next thing you got to figure out is who's going to help. That's part of your environment. Set yourself up for success, create a successful environment, get the people around you understanding your vision and where you're going, find the people that'll support that, and get the help you need. That's probably the advice going into this next year. So I'll sign off on this podcast. I wanted to keep it a short one, but I wanted to just give you guys some ideas, and I hadn't talked to you in a while, and invite you to be a part of what we're doing here at Graves Golf and get involved. And we're here to help. We're here to coach you, and we're trying to create that environment for you here as well. We'd love to have you come to the Performance Center and spend some time with us here. It's wide open. And by the way, you're invited. You come in here and we hand you a cart key, and you got access to the facility, and go have some fun and have a great experience. And we're here to help while you're here. So we look forward to seeing you. If you're interested in the VIP program, of course, reach out to me, toddg@gravesgolf.com. If it's going to be kind of an invitation only, but if you guys want to be invited, send me an email if you want to be invited into VIP. We're only taking 50 for next year, 50 VIPs. So looking forward to that. And then, and I look forward to you guys give me some feedback. Let's hear your goals. I would love if you guys wanted to send me your goals, write down the 10 action steps you're going to take and your vision for next year, and email it to me, toddg@gravesgolf.com. I'd love to read some of your visions and goals. So I'll sign off, and you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.